All right, turn my radio down. All right, this might not be very long, but I don't think you should trust factory meat, y'all. Okay? I think a lot of people need to be their own health inspector when it comes to whatever's being offered out there right now. Okay? I've talked about processed meats, as in bologna and hot dogs and whatever else is out there. This is not the same as uh, salamis or that's a fine line, okay? It is a fine line. So when I started taking care of my health, one of the first things I realized was that I shouldn't probably be eating a lot of sugar and I probably shouldn't be eating a lot of meat. And this is before it got popular, but I figured out that the keto protocol, and that's what I'm calling it because it's not a diet. The keto protocol helped me heal in a lot of ways. And even though it I don't know, I think a lot of people don't do it properly, first of all. So it promotes low carbohydrates, low refined carbohydrates, okay, meaning sugars, and ground up processed foods from a box. Think of hamburger helper type stuff, that stuff. Yeah. I can't even eat that stuff anymore, quite honestly, because to me it tastes like glue, which it is. It's basically paste. Okay. So, factory meat is basically meat in things, and you can't recognize what animal it came from because they've ground it up so much and disguised it in bread. Okay, that's factory meat. It's not real. There might be meat in it. Even if there is, I would, I beg to, like, seriously reconsider what you're feeding your kids out there. um I'm more plant-based nowadays. It's been like almost a year, but even then I'm more careful about the meat that I am eating. Like right now, I'm gonna just tell y'all now, don't be eating chicken right now. There's bird flu out there and all this other stuff. Secondly, I eat steak. Like that, I had to be very, very specific on this. So, or seafood. This is my reasoning. So, the investment that it takes to make a steak, you're going to get a higher quality meat. Okay? The investment that it takes to grow an animal, you're going to get, now I'm not saying 100%, but it's better than eating bologna. It's better than eating a hot dog. It's definitely better than eating a chicken, because nowadays they're out there inflating animals to be able to slaughter them in like 90 days. Things like chickens. Okay. I don't eat pork because it is notorious for carrying parasites. And I know a lot of people would talk about, like, I know a lot of Muslims do not consume pork. There are some Jewish people also that do not eat pork, but there is reasoning behind that. There's a lot of parasites that are naturally in those animals that can easily be, transferred. Okay. I am not vegetarian. I am plant-based. So I don't eat meat often at this point. So I've been plant-based for about a year, and I can tell the difference. I'll just say that. So I prefer to eat my big salad, like I told y'all, and mushrooms. My big salad, mushrooms. Um, I like my pickled vegetables. Okay. And I know a lot of people, what's going to fill you up? I was like, I eat fruits and vegetables. Like, I eat oranges, apples, and I know a lot of people are like, what about the GMOs? What about all the other things? Like, sometimes you got to pick your poisons at this point, right? Oh, I do eat seafood. But again, now, okay, so that's the reason why I still consume beef. But I'm very, very careful. Like I said, I don't eat hamburgers, no meatloaves, nothing ground up because I don't know how many animals that is. Now, steak, I know it came from one. And then the investment that it takes to grow a steer to big enough of a size to produce a steak, that's an investment. Okay. Seafood. I know that there are like farmed seafood. There's certain fish that I will never eat. Tilapia is one of them. I will never, never eat that fish. Never. Okay. Um, I understand. Yeah, like there's farmed fish too. I try. I like sardines. I do. I like salmon. I like tuna. I like shrimp. I'm starting to be like not so much shrimp, okay? Because again, it's not necessarily the animal itself. Sometimes it's what they're feeding them. Okay, tilapia. A lot of people don't realize how like those are bottom feeder fish. Okay, they eat garbage and they feed them garbage, and it doesn't really taste like anything anyway. So there's no nutritional value behind it. So when you go to those hole in the wall places, which I love, by the way. In fact, I went there the other day with my brother. I got fried mushrooms. Okay, so it's not like I'm not eating anything. And even then, like I gotta pick my poison. I do a 80-20 eating lifestyle. 80-20. Okay, totally 80-20. And even when I do the 20, I can kind of just like, ugh, like my mouth is like I can't do this. It's like, um, yeah. So seafood, especially like I said, the smaller fish like sardines. I feel like they're a little bit more healthy. Okay, only because they haven't had as much poisoning. Now I'm fine line with the tuna because again, tuna can be raised and again raised to eat garbage. Same thing with salmon. I know. But I'm being mindful about that too. And shrimp, I'm just kind of like, in the last few times I've had shrimp, I'm just kind of like, nah, I'm just kind of not into it anymore. Um, and I do like how food is prepared is important to me as well. Okay. So I basically the main thing I eat is salads, big salads, and I fast a lot. So I haven't even broken my fast today. It is probably 1:30. Yeah, I haven't broken my fast at all today. So I eat maybe twice a day, maybe once or twice a day. That is it. And I do eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Like I can go through a bag of oranges in like a week easily. And how many are that? What, 8? That's nothing. Like that's nothing. Like um what else do I eat a lot? Oh yeah, nuts. Um right now I just got a bag of walnuts. So I'm just trying to be mindful about that. I do eat my walnuts. I love those. Um what else? It's not the season yet, and that's another thing. Eat in season. It's not the season yet, even though you might see raspberries out there in the produce aisle. Like, where are they coming from? You might see blueberries. Where are they coming from? Be careful on that. Um, you see melons, things like that. So when the season comes, like last year, this is what I did last summer. I ate seasonally, and my body loved it. Okay, so I have to make do during the colder months, right? But when the season is seasoning, y'all, in the next couple of months, I'm like eating peaches and plums and melons and cucumbers and all the things like, and I'm just eating them, eating them, eating them. And the thing is, people think like I'm on some kind of special diet. All I'm eating is fruits and vegetables, y'all. That's all I'm eating. Some of them as raw as I can get them too. I'm not even cutting them up. Like when I'm at school, at work, I bring a whole cucumber and I eat it. I eat it because why not? It's just like eating an apple. Okay. Um, a lot of people don't embrace other vegetables as they are and consider them seasonings, like onions. I'll bake an onion, honey. Like, I can't eat it raw, but I'll put it in the oven, bake it, put a little salt on it. Is perfection. Okay. Oh, how did I learn about fasting? Well, I kind of had to. Like, this was back in 2016. I was really ill in actually 2015, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I went to the doctor and like, expecting them to give me some answers. And this is not about racism either, but I'm going to point out that the doctor I went to was a black woman, and she just told me eat right and exercise. And I was like, my spirit, something in me, it was like, okay, she's just repeating a script and she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's like, you're not even listening to what's wrong with me. Like, I'm trying to tell you what's wrong with me, and she's not even listening. She's like, well, just eat right and exercise. I'm like, so I had to go to the internet. And I've told this story before, but a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of these colleges, these medical colleges, they have lectures on the internet for anybody to watch. A lot of them, a lot of these classes. And that's what I started doing. I started learning about my body. I started learning about minerals. I started learning about, um, you know, different things. Like, I had brain fog. That was the biggest issue that I had. So I had to start digging deep. And that's where I found, um, where I was lacking magnesium. That's when I first discovered I needed magnesium. And I started with magnesium, and I remember it was in the fall of that year, and it was 2015. But I was having some improvements, but I was still just kind of like trying to figure it out. Now, I know what I just said about eating animals might be a little bit contradictory, but there's also something else going down. All right, so I first read about the keto protocol also around that time. And a lot of people don't understand that that protocol started in the 1940s when children were having epilepsy and having seizures, and the doctors didn't know how to treat it. And so they came up with this protocol to treat children, preventing them from having seizures. And it required kids to have high fat, healthy fat, and I'll go over that in a second, high fat, low carbohydrates in vegetables. This also coincided with a lot of my allergies too, by the way. Oh gosh, what is that? Uh-oh. I don't like this. Yo. That looks like a weird fire truck. That's a bomb squad. Okay, sorry. I'm like, what's happening? All right. And yeah, I still have a lot of allergies, which, I'm still working on. But they found results in these kids who had high fat diets, low carbohydrates, as in bread, okay, and pastas and all this other stuff, and high vegetable and fruit, okay. Yes, vegetables and fruit do have carbohydrates, but it's healthier. So I was still kind of on the fence. I was, especially with the high fat thing, because that's the one thing that they've been telling us since the 70s, low fat, like low fat everything, right? And I just, like, one day I was going to see my family, and my mom, she still has like a grease pot. And a lot of you who don't know that, it's like when people cook, sometimes they save the oil, the grease, or whatever. So my mom had an oil pot for which she, after she fries something or whatever, she puts it in there. And she doesn't put like the Crisco stuff in there. She doesn't put Crisco in there. She puts bacon fat in it. Bacon fat. Okay. So it's only bacon fat. So I knew that. So I went down there to visit. It was like around Christmas time or New Year's or something. I think it was New Year's. So I went down there. I knew the research. I was like, animal fat, animal fat. And there was like, animal fat, butter, animal fat. And so it took so much energy for me to get down there to drive, and it was like a 2-hour drive. I should not have been driving, quite honestly. I was literally about to pass out at any point in time. That's how bad my brain fog was. Like, that's really how bad it was. And so I spent, a day or two there with my family and enjoying all the stuff. And before I left, again, I knew the research, animal fat. I took 2 tablespoons of that oil from that oil pot, knowing that it was bacon grease. Took two straight down the gullet. Okay. And then I drove back to where I live. Within 20 minutes, I felt relief. I hadn't, like, it was like night and day. And then from there, I became a believer. Okay. Now, I'm saying all this to say that yes, it was bacon fat, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I know I just told y'all about pork, but there are ways to get clean fat now. There's MTC, there's coconut oil, there's avocado oils out there, grass-fed butters. Okay, there are healthier ways to do this. Like I said, I was desperate at that time. Would I ever do that again? Probably not, because I know that there are healthier fats out there, cleaner fats. Um, but that's when I knew I was on to something. Okay. Now, when it came to fasting, though, fasting was a way for me to clean up my diet. Fasting was a way for me to detox, as a lot of people like to talk about detoxing. It's like to eliminate or release fat, okay? Not lose weight, release fat, because fat is actually your protection. The food that we're eating, you can kind of tell, and I can show you old pictures of me, you can kind of tell, even if you're trying to eat healthy, that your fat is actually trapping those toxins. And then you have this puffy face, this puffy look of your body. And your body is trying to protect itself by making this fat around the toxins. So that when you are losing your weight, and a lot of people talk about the keto flu and all this other stuff, it's the toxins being released out of your body, you know? So yeah. And me fasting, I've done lots of different fasts. I've not done a dry fast though. That's the one thing I just can't get around, because when you dry fast, that's hardcore, honey. You don't drink water, you don't bathe, you don't put nothing on your skin. Like, that is hardcore. You got to be out in the middle of nowhere to do a dry fast. Just be ready, okay? But I will do a water fast. The longest I've ever done was 12 days. And yes, you must prepare yourself for that too. Okay? So there are different kinds of fasts out there. You don't go into what they call autophagy at least until about 72 hours. But even then, if you prepare your body well enough, you got to slowly pull yourself down. And that's the best way I can describe it. You got to slowly pull yourself down from eating certain things without you feeling like, oh, I'm dying, High sugar. You got to remove the sugar first before you even start fasting, because that's the first thing that you're going to start craving is the sugar. Okay. And I'm trying to think of any other tips. Yeah, you just got to start eating cleaner even before you fast. I think a lot of people do it backwards, and they're like, oh, I'm just going to fast. And then you're starving. And after a few hours, and it's not funny, but after a few hours, you're starving because your stomach, and I said this yesterday, your stomach has brain cells, and your stomach can detect sugar. When your stomach is like, I don't have any sugar, then it's like, I need to eat sugar. That's your craving. Okay. So when you start cutting down on the sugar and you start removing sugar from the foods that you're eating, processed foods, it does get easier to fast. Like, it does get easier to fast. Like, I just do it. Like, now I have to remember to eat. Like, I even have a food alarm to tell me, you need to be eating right now. I was like, oh yeah. And then I know this might be TMI, but it's also important. What goes in comes out. I eliminate every day. I know a lot of people are like, wait, how is it that you only eat once a day and then you do a BM every day? Because I only eat clean foods. Okay. Sometimes I do it twice a day. Okay. Um, yeah, nothing should be like hanging out in your body like that, like for days and days and days. Like I don't understand that part either. So yeah, so sometimes I go twice a day and I eat. When I do eat, I don't know, what's on deck today? I do have a meat today, but I really kind of want to eat my chili, my 3-bean chili. It's vegetarian. See, I really feel like eating that. Yeah. And I will say, maybe on my busier days when I have more activity to do, I'll probably eat a meat or something like that. I don't know. But other than that, fruits and vegetables. Yeah. And stay away from that meat factory out there. Yeah, it's like I think we have to rethink what meals are supposed to be. They're supposed to nourish your body, not fill up your stomach so you can pass out and go to sleep or whatever. Um, it's not a form of entertainment. Eating is to keep you going. It's to nourish your body, fill you with vitamins and minerals. Okay, and a lot of the factory meat doesn't have vitamins and minerals anymore. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So there are people who eat like other foods like bison or deer or rabbit and stuff like that. That's cool. I'm not I'm not knocking meat at all. It's factory meat that I got a problem with. Okay? Factory meat. All right, so I'm back home and I'm being nosy. I'm looking over that what is happening over there. Gentrification. That's what's happening over there. But yeah, I really just hope that more people, as the prices of eggs, milk, all the meats go up and up and up, y'all, you don't have to eat that stuff. Like, who told y'all you had to eat it? You don't. Like, fasting can be like affordable, it's free. You don't have to eat anything, you ain't got to buy nothing. And after a while, when you do it on a regular basis, your brain is more clear, clear up mucus out of your body. There's so many benefits. There really is, and for me, like I said, I still have my allergies. It's environmental. And I mean, there's only so much I can do with the environment, dust, and all that other stuff. But for the most part, I'm pretty healthy. Yeah. And I do have a free guide here. Try to keep it in the car that you can download. Um, but yeah, maybe I will come on and give maybe more advice on how to fast, because that is that's one of the easier things to do, but I really do think you have to prepare yourself to fast effectively. And I was just telling in another video, I had a coworker last week, she was on a juice cleanse, and at work I was like, girl, no, what you doing? Mm-mm. You setting yourself up for no. Uh-uh. There's so many things to consider, like a lot of people don't think about as it like it biblically. When you're fasting and praying, right? You're fasting and praying. You're getting to know yourself. Like, some people don't like their jobs. Okay? Like, how you going to be fasting somewhere where you don't like, and then you raise your cortisol? Like, there's so many things around that I would never fast at work per se. I would lean into the negative um caloric foods. I don't even follow calories anymore. I sure don't. I haven't even been on a scale, but I will measure myself. That's the only thing I use with a tape measure. That's the only thing I use to measure my health. Now, I do look at my blood work. I don't step on a scale. I measure myself, so for my pant size, and I need a belt. I eat as much as I want. I just don't eat garbage, you know? Life's good, you know? And yeah, with that I say take care. So yeah, maybe something on fasting for those who are interested. And I drink a lot of tea. That's another thing. A lot of tea, a lot of hydration. All right, take care.